Folks, you're in for a treat. You're going to get a wonderful, wonderful presentation. Let me introduce Dr. Dorn. He is one of our medical board members, first of all, at the Diann Shaddox Foundation for Essential Tremor. He attended Indiana University. He got his bachelor's degree in kinesiology, and then he attended Palmer College of Chiropractic. He is a board certified doctor of chiropractic, and he has certified nutritional counseling and certified low-level laser therapy. He also has a number of awards, including football scholarship to Indiana University. I did not know that. Academic All Big Ten, 1995. He graduated with honors from Palmer College of Chiropractic in 1999. He has held a teaching position as a teaching assistant at Palmer College, an internship at Heffernan Shepherd Chiropractic Clinic, and he is the owner of Dorn Chiropractic LLC in Wisconsin. Dr. Dorn is very active in his community. His volunteer works include varsity assistant, high school football coach, YMCA board, Public Education Foundation, Crosspoint Community Church, Sunday school teacher, youth basketball coach, and youth football coach. And he is a member of the Chiropractic Society of Wisconsin. So we are very delighted to have you, Dr. Dorn, and I'm going to turn it over to you and for your presentation.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I hope you find this information useful today. I've got about a 13-minute presentation we'll put together for you. So I'm just try to share a screen here. Okay, can everybody see that?
Yes, sir.
All right. So before we get started, just a few things. Just check with your doctor to make sure starting an exercise program is appropriate and safe for you. You know, more than anything that we talk about today, just be active. Find something that you enjoy doing and be consistent doing it. The following exercises, these are not based on my opinion, but based on some current research on essential tremors. Modify the exercise as needed. And you know, the easiest thing you can try to do is just try to incorporate some of the exercises into your current workout or just your daily routine. So many of you with ET already understand how important the cerebellum is. Your cerebellum is part of your brain that helps coordinate and regulate a wide range of functions and processes in both your brain and your body. While it's very small compared to your brain overall, it holds more than half of the neurons in your entire body. So just pay attention to this slide because we'll be referring to how important this is down the road. Your thalamus is your body's information relay station. All information from your body's senses except smell must be processed through your thalamus before being sent to your brain's cerebral cortex for interpretation. Your thalamus also plays a role in sleep, wakefulness, consciousness, learning, and memory. So in the Journal of Neurological Science, self-reported physical activity in essential tremors, relationship with tremors, balance, and cognitive function. It did a self-reported activity using ET patients, 100 of them, who were approximately 80 years old, and they had different assessments that they used. And what they found is that tremor and balance was worse in ET patients who were less active. So it's nice to relax and just enjoy yourself, but also try to incorporate some exercise into your day. It's like the use it or lose it. The older that you get, the more quickly that you can lose your strength and your balance. Journal of Clinical Biomechanics, Turning Performance in Parkinson's Disease and Essential Tremors. Turning is an activity that has been shown to cause falls in older adults, and especially persons with movement disorders. The cerebellum is key in the pathophysiology of essential tremors, and impairment in this area may affect the ability to turn. So they compared 15 ET patients and 15 Parkinson's patients. They had a walkway that was instrumented that they walked on and they turned on. And what they found is the ET subjects had a shorter turn radius and took longer to turn, as well as a slower walk and forward cadence than the Parkinson's patients. So the researchers concluded the subjects with ET were more at risk for falls, especially the female subjects. The results suggested that overall gait impairment in ET is more prevalent than recognized. So therapeutic intervention should include both forward, walking, and turning. So there's our star, Cheryl. You guys, she was amazing. She came to the office. I'm like, hey, I want to videotape you doing some exercise today. You good with that? And she goes, oh yeah, I'll be fine. So I literally would show her the drill and then she just would do it. So she just did this cold. There wasn't like a lot of rehearsal. It wasn't like she had like weeks to practice this. So you just kind of get a raw look of somebody that just kind of came in cold and was a great sport about doing the exercises. So thank you, Cheryl. So the pivot drill here, for those of you that know basketball, it's more like just a pivot here, like you're playing basketball. She actually has these special shoes that are very sticky in the bottom to prevent her from falling. So then when she was on her carpet here, you could just see how she couldn't even move her foot. So I would recommend as you're, doing this, definitely you want to turn that ankle as you're twisting so you don't torque your ankle and your knee. And when you're doing this, obviously you want to maybe do 10 to 20 one way and then 10 to 20 with the other foot, okay? And if you want to make it a little bit more of a challenge, have somebody stand like over here, and then as you're turning, they could throw you like a beach ball to catch or tennis ball to catch. Another drill, just really easy, just put a towel down. Just practice walking. And again, as you get to the end here, you could look up and then have somebody throw you a tennis ball or a beach ball. And then obviously you want to do both sides there. So again, I do probably between 15 and 25 if you can each way every day. It talked about persons with essential tremors can adapt to new walking patterns in the Journal of Neurophysiology. So they took a healthy group, matched them with an ET group, had them walk in a split belt treadmill just to see how their balance was, and then on the ground just to test how they were able to walk with their step length. Asymmetry was measured to assess the rate of adaptation when they went from the treadmill to the floor. And the research concluded that despite probable cerebellar involvement with essential tremors that we talked about earlier, walking adaptation is an available mechanism to teach ET subjects a new gait pattern. So what I'd recommend doing is just put a strip of tape on the floor or just like a towel, just something that you won't trip over, just so you can assess yourself walking in a straight line. So, and then with all these different movements, what you want to do is you want to swing that opposite arm and leg. So she did a nice job there, but maybe a little more of an arm and leg swing. So this is just practicing walking forward. Again, just have a strip of tape down. You can see Cheryl did a really nice job there. And then the next step to make it a little bit more difficult is marching. So she was really intentional about trying to raise that opposite arm and leg. Again, you can see she fell off a little bit there, but again, she did a nice job recovering. You can see she's focusing her hand. She has a little bit of a tremor there. So.
Yeah, Brady can tell you my balance is not real good.
Well, part of it's just the different health problems that you have too.
Yeah.
But yeah, you did a great job though for coming in cold.
Thank you.
So marching backwards, again, what you want to try to do is swing that opposite arm and leg. And then again,
this may look easy, but it wasn't.
It's not. No. Well, that's the whole thing is you want to, by doing these things that your body's not used to, you're really challenging your brainstem, your cerebellum, and you're creating a new motor pattern in your motor cortex. So, no matter where somebody's physical activity is, just doing some simple, pivoting and walking forward and trying to walk backwards and marching forward and backwards. So, see, she's smiling. She wasn't cussing me out or yelling. Very sweet demeanor. Sweet demeanor. Marching from side to side. Again, you just want to try to alternate that opposite arm and leg, going both ways. So it's just kind of interesting here. She's trying to figure it out. Just sometimes it's the same arm and leg there. So again, she did a good job. I just wanted to show you guys what it looks like for somebody who hasn't practiced and just trying to learn a new pattern.
See how he beats me up every 2 weeks?
Oh, you're a sweetheart. You do such a good job with whatever we throw at you for that visit. So the Archives of Medicine and Physical Medicine and Rehabilitation, resistance training can improve fine manual dexterity in ET patients. So what's cool about this study is they had people who had ET for anywhere from 12 to 26 years that were between 67 and 81 years old, and they participated in a 6-week resistance training program twice a week. So the exercises included a unilateral dumbbell bicep curl, wrist flexion, and wrist extension. And there's different objective measurements that they used for this. Upper limb strength was determined by a 5-rep maximum. The program resulted in significant increases in 4 of the 6 tests. Significant improvements were observed for the single hand components of the test. Performance improved immediately after resistance training in the most affected limb, but the changes took a little bit longer in the least affected limb. So these sessions were 45 to 55 minutes. It wasn't, and you don't have to do that long, but what they were doing is it was more of like a warm up, getting the blood flow going before they got into the resistance training. So that was part of it was a warm up. So their 5-rep max was already figured out. So basically after the warm up, the first set of the session utilized a dumbbell that was about 50% of their 5-rep max. So if their max was 25 pounds that they could do 5 times, then you want to start off with maybe 10 pounds, 10 pound dumbbell.
And guess who didn't give me a warm up?
Yeah. And then, so then what you would do with that initial 50% of your weight was you would do about 3 reps of 12, just alternate, 12 on one arm, 12 on the other. And then they went to the next round was 8 to 10 reps. And then after that, the final was 3 reps of their max of 5 repetitions. And then as people progressed through their training program, if they could complete the 10 reps, then it was increased 2.2 pounds for the next session. So what's pretty cool is the reduction in tremor amplitude in the most affected limb, greater improvement in strength, improvement in dexterity in the most and least affected limbs, improvement in 7 out of the 10 subtests versus 4 out of 10 for the control group, and significant improvement in measure of eating, so their ability to kind of bring the fork or their spoon up to their mouth.
As a side note, I want you guys to be aware that Dr. Dorn has been my chiropractor for 18 years. And he took the initiative to become acquainted with essential tremor to help me. So You did.
Well, thank you.
It's been incredible.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So another test that they did, the Journal of Muscle and Nerve, again, strength training. They took 13 subjects with the ET and assigned them to 3 different groups. One was with heavy weights, one with light weights, and one with no weights at all. And what they found is the people who responded the best were the ones with the heavier loads. They said that the 2 other groups did not exhibit any changes, but just understand that's for what they were measuring. I mean, anytime you're going to be exercising, you're using dumbbells, you're still working on your balance and your strength. So what they mean is, again, what they were measuring maybe didn't change much, but it's still as far as exercise go, you're going to get some results. But again, as you're working out, you want to try to do some heavier loads. And they found that, again, they can decrease the magnitude of the tremor. So one of the other videos I had with Cheryl, she was sitting on my table doing this, and she was doing an Arnold Schwarzenegger impersonation.
I'll be back.
And she nailed it. She nailed it. But unfortunately, the clip was a little bit too long to get in the PowerPoint. So, but what she's doing a great job of here is you can see she's getting full extension. She's not cheating, like using her body or her shoulder. It's very controlled. And what else is impressive is when you're sitting on a TheraBall, you're actually stimulating your cerebellum more, and you can just see the balance that she has. So that's really kind of doubling up your efforts there. So she did a really good job, again, just coming in cold. Wrist flexion, you want to have about a 90-degree angle there. And again, you can see she's really working on those wrist flexors and not cheating with her shoulder or biceps. That's really good repetitions there. Same thing, you want to have your arm and your elbow about a 90-degree angle. Just very nice and controlled there. So great job.
But they're harder than heck.
You did amazing. And obviously you guys want to do both sides. This is just a clip we wanted to, so you know what it looked like. Another interesting therapy that they found was they did a pilot study with yoga led by a physical therapist. And there was just 6 subjects as a pilot study. But they did an 8-week of a 1-hour yoga class, and they did the vinyasa style which is kind of more of like a slow movement. Other yoga positions are more like you hold that position for us. So this is more of a slow, steady flow. And what they found is that the ET rating scale, 8.3 to 35% improvement with 15.3% mean. And then with their balance was anywhere from 2.5 to 20% improvement. So again, tremor and balance both improve with just a kind of a slow vinyasa style of yoga. So just to review the exercises, walking forward, again, you want to maybe put a piece of tape down or a towel if you're doing it at home, or like a rubber workout band if you're like at the gym. Marching forward, again, you want to just try to alternate those arms and legs. Marching backwards, again, the opposite arm and leg. Side to side, again, really want to work on that opposite arm and leg. So we're just kind of showing off here. She does such a good job. So this is like a foam pad. A lot of gyms have them. It's called an AirX pad. And so again, when you're standing on there with that foam, it really affects your balance. And so again, you're stimulating your cerebellum when you're even more while you're doing these exercises in that whole spinal pathway. So again, what you want to do is it's more like the cross crawl, that opposite arm and leg. And again, as she's kind of learning that pattern, she's kind of using the same arm just because she's unsure with the balance. But again, here's a pad Cheryl step, but she's actually done a lot of her work on here when we've been doing some rehab with her. So she did a great job again. I'm sure you guys are familiar with these different exercises.
Two.
Again, standing on the pad really makes it a lot harder. You can see just her balance, what a great job that she's doing. And again, you want to do opposite arm, as you're rotating. Again, despite having a balance on here, you can see just the control that she has, what a great job that she's doing.
Thanks, Brady.
And the TheraBall, if you guys are comfortable. So obviously, if balance is hard, sit on the bench at the gym or at home or a chair. Standing would be the next level. Again, at the gym, if you have a ball or an AirX pad, I'd recommend using that if you feel comfortable. So you get a full spectrum here of what Cheryl's capable of. She did a really good job. Just another thing to work on your core is that you're sitting on the ball. You're just kind of doing some circles. You're kind of sucking your belly button back, tighten your abs a little bit, and then you're just going in circles, clockwise, counterclockwise, and then just from side to side rocking. That just, again, really working on your balance and your core strength. And the pivot drill, again, you want to move this ankle. It's kind of on a sticky floor. And if you want to make it a little more difficult, as you turn, try to catch like a beach ball, something easier, like a tennis ball. Pivot drill, again, both ways. Again, at the end, you can try to catch a beach ball or tennis ball. So in summary, individuals with ET have a cerebellar impairment that can affect gait and balance. So it's important to include walking, marching, and turning exercises in your workout routine. Research has shown that using heavier weights for curls, wrist flexion, and wrist extension exercises have reduced tremor intensity and frequency. Using an AirX pad or TheraBall will stimulate the cerebellum more than just sitting or standing. And again, just find an activity that you enjoy doing and just be active. And consistent doing it, like that initial study said, people that weren't as active, their ET scores were worse as far as balance or quality of life. So,
one thing I want to add, Dr. Dorn, and I think
yeah.
you can attest to this too, and I've said it over and over and over again. With essential tremor, if you watch those videos, I am extremely focused.
Yeah.
And I also don't rush, because I have found that unless I focus and I slow down, my tremors go haywire. But if I focus on what I'm doing, I also have trifocals, so I got to pay attention where I'm stepping. but focus is really key. And I think you've seen it. You know how much I lock in.
Yeah.
When I'm doing this stuff, and I take my time.
Yeah.
So anything you're doing, because I'm very unsure with my footing at times. And so I really pay attention to what's in front of me. If, if I got to step down, step up, if there are rocks on the ground, because I will fall, and I have. So, and this is from somebody who used to be on toe shoes in ballet. So you think my balance has been affected? Yeah.
And another thing I want to add, and Dr. Dorn can attest to this, hopefully, you don't have to do that much exercise each day and make it a routine, just get what is comfortable with you, I would say, and get your time when you feel it. Mornings for me would be maybe in the afternoons. And just do what, I don't know, a time limit, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, what would be a good time limit?
Yeah. Are you asking me like how much time to spend, or okay?
Yeah, I mean, how much time?
That's a great question. Like you said, try to incorporate into your daily routine. If somebody's going to the gym, maybe add some of those exercises into what they're doing. If they're just hanging out at home during the day, just kind of doing some yard work or some stuff around the house, just try to maybe incorporate like the walking, the marching, the pivot drills. Like you said, the most important thing is just trying to take a little bit of time, whether it's 10 minutes a few times a day, or if you're at the gym, maybe adding an extra 15 or 20 minutes. And that's a good point, because that was an important thing I just try to include with these exercises. Instead of spending 45 minutes or an hour doing 20 different things, what are the real key things that keep showing up in their literature as far as that have been the most effective? That's also the easiest, I guess, time wise to try to incorporate into the day. So
yeah, make it a routine.
Yeah. And even if y'all are not used to exercising, you can literally start with 5 minutes a day. Okay. It actually gets the brain pathways set around exercise. And anybody can do 5 minutes most of the time, right? So you can carve that out. And then once you do that for a week or so, you'll feel like doing more. And so don't feel like you have to start with the full length of time, although probably, I don't know, like Dr. Dorn said, 15 minutes, 20 minutes a day would probably be ideal to work towards, but you don't have to start there.
The other thing I would recommend is I would kind of recommend that people do it in the morning, because I know it hits me, and I'm pretty sure it hits you too, Diann. Dealing with ET all day, by mid-afternoon and into the evening, I get really tired. Right. And I'm more with it and have more energy and feel more like doing stuff like this in the morning. And that's one of the reasons I always see Dr. Dorn in the morning.
And another thing I will add is I believe, like Darlene, you just said, the more you exercise, the better for your brain. And it also gives you more energy. It's one of those things, you'll exercise and may be a little tired, and the tremors may go a little more, but the more you do it, the more strength, or you'll feel better and mentally feel better, I believe.
Absolutely.
So let's see. And you can do these exercises. I want to keep saying this. You do not have to get up in on some of the exercises. If your balance is too bad, hold on to something. Start slow. Don't take risk. We don't want everybody falling.
No.
But I know there's exercises you can do to hold on to a chair or something, or bars if you're at the gym. So I do want to say that. Be careful, but it will eventually help you with your balance. But we don't want anybody falling. And I did have a few people who commented that I can't exercise because I can't walk. But you were showing things. There's plenty of things. And is there leg stretches or something you can do, Dr. Dorn?
Yeah, well, even just if you can strengthen like your legs, your quads, your glutes, your hamstrings. So even just if somebody has a chair with the arms on each side, even just trying to, stand up and sit down in the chair, try to
Mhm.
stand up and sit down without even using the armrest, just basic
Right.
stuff. That's good. Somebody could, lean against the wall if they're trying to walk and their balance is bad, they can just walk along the wall, kind of marching, using their hands for support, or forward and backward, just kind of holding onto the wall. Even just like a wall squat, you put your back against the wall and just try to squat down as far as you feel is comfortable and just try to hold that. Even just like those exercises where you can just kind of hold a position for a while, they found very helpful. Even like off of a chair, again, if instead of not just getting up and down, but maybe you're kind of hovering a little bit above the chair, just trying to hold that position for maybe 5 or 10 seconds. Again, that
Mhm.
stuff's very, very safe, but very effective too.
The
Well,
other
that's-
thing I
Mhm.
could say too is the original reason that I started seeing Brady was I bulged 3 discs in my back. And one of the things that he had me do, and this is before my tremors really started kicking up, an exercise ball was awesome because number one, if you can put it somewhere where you can hold on to stuff, you can do those little exercises like I was doing. Okay. And it doesn't hurt your back. It's really good to help you focus on your balance. And it also helps strengthen your core in a very gentle way, and that's what he started me out with, honestly, after I blew my back, because I was in pretty bad shape. And if you can try it, even if you can't walk, if you can have somebody help you get on an exercise ball or try it, they're wonderful. They really are.
Well, that's what I believe. There's lower stress on your body, and exercises. I believe anybody can do it. So, that's again what I was getting questions on, because we have the misnomer that, you're going to exercise and run a marathon. That's all these people
I
go
know.
to the gym, and they're going to build their bodies up. Start small, and it will help, and it will help your mind. And it will help. Essential tremor does improve with it. I like the weights. I used to do weights all the time, and that does strengthen my arms enough that the tremors, if I'm not doing it right now, but if the tremors do calm down, if I would get back, and you don't have to lift a huge weight, get a 2-pounder. I mean, if that's what you're comfortable with, work your way up to a 5-pounder or something. A lot of people think they've got to make it happen in a day, but you don't. So is there any other questions, or?
It's just, if I could add a couple other things real quick.
Yes.
Just laying down like in bed, there's an exercise called like the glute bridge, where you
Yeah.
have like your knees bent, you're laying on your back and you just basically, lift your butt up and squeeze your glutes. So that's very safe, you could do. There's another exercise called like a dead bug. People can just YouTube that if they want. Again, it's like a crawling, but you're laying on your back like a beetle upside down. Like you said, if somebody isn't used to using dumbbells, there's like those little loops, those little bands that you can use, or like those longer bands and loops. And so you could just try the curls, wrist flexion, wrist extension. Another exercise to do is just to take those loops and just kind of hold them in one position for a little while, like in a curl position or different things. So there's different tools you can use too, besides weights.
Well, yeah, and if you can't hold on to things very well, which is very common, they're wrist weights, they're ankle weights, so you don't have to hold on to anything. Those can be very helpful. I know they got those from my mother with Parkinson's, and they did help her. The other thing is check in your community to see if they have seated exercises. I know they have them on YouTube too, that are made specifically for people who can't get out of a chair, and that's an easy thing to do. I've seen a lot of them on like the PBS stations I've seen them on YouTube, you know, and you can do it from the comfort of your own home, and they're dedicated to people who may not have full mobility.
Right. And there's a lot of that. And we're kind of targeting the older, but people, the younger people need to really start or keep exercising. Like Cher and I have had ET for so long, we were young. And I've said this, I really believe my ET, it wasn't as bad because I kept active.
Right.
I played golf. I got out and worked in my flower garden and my vegetable garden. I did have that too. And the yard. Keep active. You know, don't let the tremors define you. That's Cher's thing.
That's right. That's right.
Because sometimes, you know, you go outside and you do something and your tremors really get going and you think, no, I better not do that again. No, keep it up. Keep going. And we do want the young people to keep exercising, keep those muscles strong. So, anything else?
Did you guys
So-
see the message that just came up?
Oh,
Yeah, so Jackie asked if we could put this on YouTube also, and I believe you will be doing that, Diann, on the YouTube
Yes.
channel. So we will get that up shortly as well. I also want to mention too, for anyone that, you know, you feel like you can't, there's been a lot of modifications discussed today, which is amazing. But even if you feel like you can't do anything, or you're wanting to do something, but really struggling with getting started, listen, the power of your brain is amazing. So I have done a lot of work with individuals, even with ET, even with stroke. Okay. So after a stroke, you cannot move an arm, you cannot move a leg. Sometimes they couldn't
Right.
even get up for PT. And if you will envision yourself actually moving and walking and see yourself walking in a straight line. This is not hocus pocus medicine, folks. This is documented medical science. I did research on this. I had grants, national grants to support this research as well. And there's a number of other researchers who do this as well. But see yourself doing the activity that you want to do and try to immerse yourself in it. How would it feel? I wonder how the ground would feel under your feet if it were steady, right? And envision that, and then try again, right? Then try to walk a little bit further the next time and see how you do with that. And it is so, so powerful because the research shows that even with this, the visualization, right, that it actually impacts the muscles themselves. And eventually it can, certainly collaboratively with the physical exercise, but even independently without the physical exercise, it's very, very helpful. So I just want to encourage you guys, no matter where you are, there's always something you can do towards this end. So
participate, join us. And we're glad everybody joined us. And thank you, Dr. Dorn, for your PowerPoint. And we loved your helper.
yeah, that was perfect. Good job, Cher.
Thank you.
That
He
was
did
great.
literally spring this on me. I walked in and he goes, "You care if we do this?" No, it's fine. That's fine. I didn't know at the time what he was planning on. I should have figured it out right away. And then it kind of started to make sense. The only thing I said to him was, you know, you could have given me a little warning so I could have maybe dressed a little better.
No, it was perfect.
Yes.
And we thank you, both of you, for
problem.
doing that. And we're going to share that. And, you know, I have to say, some of that's simple when you think about it, but it's not. Some of the things she was doing, when you get in to do it, and walking a straight line is very difficult. So that was too great.
Thank you.
Loved it. And thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Dorn.
Thank you. Hope you find it helpful.
You know
will
me.
be very helpful.
All right,
I appreciate
everyone.
it
Well,
very
we will let you all know the next time we're having ET Talks. We are doing our best to bring you one a month. And so we will get the next one posted very soon for you. Okay, so have an amazing day, everyone. And we'll
Thank
talk.
you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.